Alright, we're here again now. Making the body, for the most people, will be very stressful experience. But for us, it will not be. We'll go to object mode, Shift A, Mesh, UV Sphere, this will be our body. Press Tab, put it down, scale it, put it down and put it back. And now go to object mode, of course, turn on our symmetry with X, here in the top you see. There, X, symmetry, and start working with it. So most of the time I'm doing this and the shoulders from this thing. From the side view, what I want it to look like is so the head, the back, and then going forward. Then here will be the chest, and then this will go forward like this. I want him to have this kind of posture, and most of the characters I do, they have this kind of posture forward, and then he will have this shouldering here, his muscular arms like this, with the, something like that. I mean, it's not the best drawing ever, but it can give you the idea where we are going with this. And then the other hand, at some point we will make it go forward like this, and he will show a middle finger. Or he will show this, what is showing there. Or a middle finger, I mean, we will see. And then he will have also skulls here on the, everything as it should be. And other things. But for now, we want this kind of shape of the body from the side. You see, head, then the rib cage, and then everything goes forward like this. And then here will be the pelvis, and then there will be his, thighs, the ass, and the knee, and then the back will be, and here we'll have a big kind of shoes. See, pretty easy. The flow is very important. We have to have this kind of flow, like this, like this, like this, like this. This is the flow. Ass, rib cage, feet. Very important flow. So don't try to replicate that at home. No, try to replicate it at home. It will be a must. You have to. Now, getting forward. Make sure you have symmetry, by the way. If you don't have symmetry, it will be bad. Make sure you have very wide shoulders and kind of thin waist. That's what he's, visibly, that's his most important feature, maybe, other than the face and other stuff. But you see very wide and huge shoulders, so I will even inflate them with the inflate brush, and of course I will look from all sides and try to do them right, but we'll see how it will be. You see, I'm making his belly go much forward than his face. At least for now. We'll see. I mean, this is about, maybe we will change it, maybe we'll not change it. By the way, the front part here, the chest, should be narrower than the back part here, the back. The back is always like bigger than the chest. That's always the case. If you look somebody from the back, you will see this kind of back, especially a bodybuilder, for example, back. From the front, you have a chest and everything, and yeah, Control R, by the way, will give us a little bit more geometry to work with. And now it's very important to put our clavicle, and let me show you a little bit of anatomy here. First, we go to this guy, why not? And now I will show you a little bit of anatomy. Let's take our time, we have time. It's better to take a little bit more time and for me to teach you a little bit more about those things, because it's very important. Now, we have this neck, yes. And the neck most likely, especially for the guys with thick neck, is going here down and a little bit away. Down and a little bit away. This is the this muscle, sternocleidomastoid. It's coming from the back of from the ear down and connecting here in the middle like this. But it's also going a little bit outward like this. So this is the neck, okay? Okay. Now, from the back here, we have the traps. Here, we have the traps. And they are connecting around the traps. They are very big muscle. If you look at them from the back, they're very complex and big muscle. From the front, we see only this part. You see only this part, and then here it's covered from the front. It's covered by the front shoulder. This is the front shoulder here. It's mostly this part is the front shoulder. This is the side shoulder. We don't see the back shoulder in here because it's the front. So there are three parts of the shoulder: front, side, and back. We see mostly the front shoulder from the front and the side. Okay, now this biceps is very nice, by the way. Many people are making the biceps like this. Let me show you how they do it. So from the front view, they do the shoulder, for example. This is the shoulder. These are the pecs, the chest muscle. And they do the biceps like this. And the triceps, and this is the body, this is the hand, the arm, but the biceps like this. Don't do this. Don't. So you see the biceps is not, it's not like an ellipse from the front. It's like a cylinder mostly. You see? It's like straight, and like this. Amazing. This is how you do it. You don't do it like small in here, like this. You know, many people are doing it like this. Don't do it. In the anatomy books, it's like this, but in the real life, in real people who are very strong and very muscular, it's more like a cylinder, or like even like a elongated cube, we may say. So be very careful. So don't do this. Don't do this. Okay, so we have the triceps in here, we have it in here, and the clavicle is very important. The clavicle is starting with here and going here. So this is the clavicle, and it's a hugely important landmark. When I'm doing the body, I'm doing this base shape, and then I always start to do the clavicle. The clavicle from the top. If we look from the top, this is the chest, for example, here. From the top, we see it. And then the clavicle is going away, then outward, then back, and then away again. Because the clavicle is protecting the neck, mostly. So it's going around the neck. So it will go here, then back, then here. A little bit like S shape. And here is the neck, you know, the neck muscles and other things. But that's what the clavicle is doing. Going around the neck and then here. Now we see the clavicle, amazing. And now for the clavicle, the upper chest is this. You see how it's connected to the clavicle? It's here. This is the upper chest. Here we have the upper chest too. This is the middle chest, as you can see. And the middle chest is most likely going a little bit more down, like this. This is the middle chest. So the middle chest is connected mostly to the sternum in here. The sternum is this kind of thing here, where all the ribs, almost all the ribs are connected to the sternum. You know, the ribs are here. They're connected to the sternum. The sternum is this bow tie thing in the middle. Also, the clavicles, the both part of the clavicle, are connected to the sternum, but not exactly bone to bone. There are hinges, we may say, there. But yeah, they're connected. Basically, they're hinging in this area. Because when we pull our hand up very much, then the clavicle is going also up, you know, at some point. Now, let's see how it will be. So the chest, the upper chest, here. The upper chest, here. the middle chest. And of course, after the upper chest, it's the front shoulder. And it's connected to the clavicle. To the top, of course. The bottom of the shoulder and the chest is all connected to this bone in here, the humerus. The humerus is the bone that is around this area here, this bone of the arm. The upper arm bone is the humerus. And they're all connected. The chest, the shoulder, all the shoulder muscles, everything is connected to this muscle, to this bone in there. So, yeah. But whatever. So this is the side shoulder, which, as you can see, let me show. So the front shoulder ends in here. The side shoulder goes down a little bit more. So the shoulder from the front, most of the time, makes this kind of interesting shape. So front shoulder, side shoulder is lower. And then the biceps is kind of going here, as you probably can see. This is the front shoulder, and this is the side shoulder, and the biceps is here. Pretty good, right? Yeah. And the chest, of course, it's not only like the anatomy books, upper, middle, and lower, you know, and like this. It has some kind of forms which can vary. Most of the forms can vary, especially the press, the abdominal muscles. They can vary a lot. But they're mostly 1, 2, 3, and this is kind of a 1. But at some people it can be cut in here, and some people can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. So 10 kind of abdominal things. 10, some people. But it's rare. Most of the people have just 8 pack. And they call it 6 pack because they have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And they don't count this lower, below the navel, below this navel or whatever it's called. Yeah. So we will have our clavicle. We will have our traps. We will have our shoulder, in which the side shoulder is bigger, and then we'll have the front shoulder a little bit shorter, at least how it seems. Then we'll have the biceps, then we'll have a huge triceps in here, because our character is, you know, pretty huge biceps he has, and the triceps especially is bigger. And then we'll have some chest in here, big like this. You see all those things. And I'm trying to explain a little bit of anatomy here. In anatomy for, in superhero anatomy, which I do in ZBrush, of course, but it doesn't matter. It's anatomy. It's not about ZBrush. It's not about any 3D software. It's about anatomy, and I'm showing it in ZBrush. I can show it in any 3D software. It doesn't matter. It's anatomy. So in that course, I explain more about these things, so you can check it out if you haven't. But even if you have checked it out, even if you have it, I think for this character it will be good to kind of refresh your knowledge, because if you haven't done a muscular male character in a while, it could be good to refresh your knowledge always. So that's it. Also nipples. But that's it for now. Let's continue with sculpting. I think it will be best. Okay, so clavicle, as I told you, I always start with it. So the clavicle is very important. Let's see in our character if we have the clavicle. Yeah, the clavicle is just basically, for this muscular people especially, is the upper side of the chest. So if we do it, we can know where our upper chest is. And we can inflate this area a little bit, just do a bit of, you know, chest muscle like this. You see? Pretty cool. Even if we cut like this, smooth a bit. Here we can do this. The idea is to have this kind of you know, inflated and big chest. But be careful. I mean, we will fix this if it's bad. We will do more if it's small. The idea is to have some... Now, I want always, mostly always, to have visible a little bit of the rib cage. And he is having his... let's see, he's a little bit like this, and the belly is going forward. It's very interesting if we will be able to do this, but we'll probably will. We'll see. And I'm not still sure about the length of the neck and some other proportions, which can be fixed easier later. I will do the middle line in here, just because I can, and then I will do, so 1, 2, 3, and then navel in here. And then below it, we'll have more. The navel could be a little bit higher, though. Like this. And then we always want these guys in here, just to make it. And separate them a little bit from the rest. And since he has pretty small waist, I will just, with my move brush, make it smaller. And I will increase the size of his back. And in the back, I have to draw you what's happening. If you have a reference, of course, it's the best. If you go to the Pinterest again and write bodybuilder back, for example, you will see a lot of things. But most of the time you will not be able to make out what are those things. So most of the time you will see this. So this is the traps in here. The traps here will have something like a rhomboid shape a little bit in between. But most of the time the traps will be something like this. You see, they are pretty complex muscle, by the way. But then here we will have some interesting muscles going through the scapula in the back. So this is the scapula. You can make out the scapula in the back, but most of the time you will see the back shoulder and this muscle here, which I don't remember quite the name. And then you will have the back going a little bit like this. Here you will have a little bit of form, and I will show you what all of those are a little bit, but for now I will just inflate this area here because he's huge. He has a very big, the shoulders are pretty big, everything is big on him. So I will inflate the shoulders forward, backward, all the way. This is the shoulder pads. This is his shoulders basically. But they don't look quite much now. I can even inflate with my inflate brush just to make them a bit bigger. And we'll have to fix a lot of things here, especially on the arms. The arms will be maybe one of the most difficult things on the body, besides the head, because the head is most of the time a lot of details on the head, so it's difficult to make, kind of. But yeah. Now, when the clavicle ends and the shoulder starts, there could be a little bit of an empty area. It's very important to make sure you have a distinction between the traps and the shoulder, this empty area. So make sure you have this traps and then shoulders. You know, sometimes you don't have them, but this, most of the time you have it. Then here will be our chest. Of course, in this case, our chest is not developed yet. And then we will have our biceps in here, the triceps, and the other muscles and stuff. But still, we have a lot more things to do because we are in the middle of our journey, we may say, even. For the body, I mean. It's a little bit undeveloped yet. I'll maybe push this chest back. Then those... See, it's a little bit interesting how this goes in. Big upper body. Yeah, it's very important to take our time here and make sure the body is as good as possible, because this is our base. If the body is not good enough, nothing what we put in over it and nothing matters. Nothing else matters. I mean, yeah, metallic and everything, but it's true. I mean, you have to do your base. And if you don't know what to do exactly and everything, watch the concept. If you cannot make out the concept, watch the references. Watch this guy, how he is. Watch here the chest, the muscles, and everything. And it will come. But of course, this guy is very big and, you know, he looks very strong and very muscular. But this shoulder you can see here, it's ridiculously huge. So yeah, we want our guy to be a little bit over the charts, you know. I mean, amazingly huge. So let's fix here. The front shoulder has to attach to the clavicle, so I will try to kind of make it attached to the clavicle. Here the shoulders should not be very huge. I mean, for example, you see how tall they are. They are a little bit less tall than the face. For our guy here, they may be a bit taller than... Not taller than the face. Let's see. The face, from the hairline to the jaw. Yeah, the chest probably is a little bit bigger than the face. In our case, the hairline, the jaw, and the chest is, we may say, it's kinda similar. But we also have to watch our silhouette, because the silhouette here, as you can see, is pretty nice. So if we watch it, maybe we can make it pretty similarly to the concept. If we watch the silhouette. Of course, we have to watch all the sides, because if we watch only the silhouette, then we most likely will make a mistake. Here, by the way, we see on the back, we have this kind of muscle which is going here, which is cutting those muscles here. They're coming from the back, but you see how this guy, this back muscle here, is going over them, and it's kind of hiding them until they go away from this muscle, and then they are shown. And then they will go down. And there will be something like fingers in here. You'll see that. In some people, I will show you now. Those are like kind of chainsaw things. And of course, we need them, but smooth a little bit. So I'm just touching with the smooth here. We don't need them too much. Let me try to show you on our guy here. They're not very visible on this guy, on this picture. On this picture they are a little bit more visible, but still it's not too much. Let's see, it's sometimes difficult to draw over the pure ref, but if I kind of click enough times, yeah, it happens. So this is this muscle on the back, which is covering those, and they are starting to come from it, and then they are intersecting with the other muscles down, and they're making this kind of shapes in here. You see, it's not exactly super visible, but it's like this. This is the, you know, nipple. Amazing stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to kind of fit a lot of things. Hopefully I'm doing a good enough job, but You cannot get an expert in anatomy from one model. You have to do a lot of models, you have to watch a lot of courses, you have to watch a lot of YouTube videos also. I have a lot of videos about anatomy in my channel, especially face anatomy, but I have about the arm anatomy, I have about... I don't think I have about the torso though. I have to do it, and probably I will do it soon. Maybe if you're watching this video, I already have on my YouTube channel a video about the torso and the back, because the back is important. Let me draw you the back a little bit. I already sculpted it a bit, but let me draw it to you. In the beginning, I was having a lot of issues with the back, and many people will have. But we have the traps. They are coming from the base of the skull. And here we will have a little bit of a, you know, like diamond shape. Because they are attached to some tendon in here. And we sometimes will see a little bit of the our spine. Just few pieces of the spine. And then we'll go like this. This will be a hole in here in the middle. Not a hole, but a channel. Especially in the muscular people, just will have this kind of going in like this channel. Then the traps will go like this, and here we'll have our scapula in the middle. We are not seeing it here, and we are not seeing it in very muscular people. It will be inside the muscle. Muscles will be around it. So the traps will go like this. And then they will go and just end. And here we'll have something like a round shape. But I cannot go into too much detail in here because, you know, it's not needed. This will not be that visible, especially with his jacket going over this area. It's not needed that much. But then you will have this muscle pretty pronounced here in most muscular people, which is attached to the bottom of the scapula here. And it's attached then below the shoulder, below this back shoulder, because shoulder muscles are over everything. They are over the biceps, they are over the triceps, they are over everything. And they're over this muscle too. And this muscle is attached to the arm also. It's pulling the arm back. One of the muscles that pulling the arm back. The other is this muscle here, which, by the way, is the same as this guy here. It's the same muscle. It's just wrapping around in the front, covering those muscles in here that then are going down like this. You see, a lot of things. I know you will probably not be able to remember. This is the back shoulder here, and it's attached to the upper point of the clavicle, of the scapula in the back. The scapula is this kind of a triangular shape that it's connected to the humerus bone of the upper arm. And then here we'll have the triceps, and then we'll have the lower muscles. Everything is amazing. We'll have our hair. And yeah, you see, amazing. Now, let's continue. Maybe in the next video. Yeah, let's continue in the next video. We have done a lot of job in this one. A lot of work. We will continue in the next video with the body again, of course. Bye for now.